If a contract must be considered as a valid contract, there must be offer and acceptance, and also there must be consideration. Then the contract we consider as a valid contract. This act is not applicable for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, hence it is applicable for whole India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This act has replaced the Indian Patent and Designs Act 1911. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are going with the new subject, that is Business Regulatory Framework for 4th semester BCom students. This Business Regulatory Framework subject is as per the NEP syllabus. Okay, so what is the main intention of this business regulatory framework? The University of Mysore had framed a syllabus of business regulatory framework to impart the knowledge in the minds of students. Okay, so here in this subject, the name itself, it is going to say that it is going to give a regulatory framework regarding the business law or the company law. Okay, this is agenda of today's session. We are going with 5 units that is included in the syllabus. Okay, so this business regulatory framework subject consists of 5 units. Unit 1 to Unit 5 and marks details. When it comes in terms of marks details, there are 2 criteria for marks details, that is internals and externals. When it comes in terms of internals, that is for 40 marks, externals it's for 60 marks, because this subject is as per the new NEP 40/60 pattern. Module 1, Indian Contract Act 1872. This Indian Contract Act 1872 is enacted by Imperial Legislative Council, which is not formulated by the particular individuals. Hence, it is formulated by the legislative body of British regime in India on 1st September 1872. These are the contents that is included in the syllabus, that is introduction and definition of contract. So the name itself, it is going to say that it's about the contract. So meaning and definition of contract, essentials of valid contract. So if a contract must be considered as a valid contract, what are the essentials that must be there to consider a contract as a valid contract? Offer and acceptance and consideration, right? These are the 3 main elements of a valid contract. If a contract must be considered as a valid contract, there must be offer and acceptance, and also there must be consideration. Then the contract we consider as a valid contract. Contractual capacity. Okay, so here we are going to learn the contractual capacity or the eligibility to make a contract. Free consent. Okay, so whatever the contract that is going to happen in India as per the Indian Contract Act, it must be free consent. So we are not supposed to scare somebody to get a contract with. Okay, so it must be free consent. Classification of contract. So the contract is classified into many categories based on its nature. And discharge of a contract. So there is a formality according to the Indian Contract Act for the discharge of contract. And in the same way, while formulating a contract, there are some criteria, and in the same way, while discharging the contract also, there is a criteria that we are going to learn here. Breach of contract and remedies to breach of contract. So these are all the important terms that we need to learn under the Unit 1 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Then Unit 2, Sale of Goods Act 1930. The contracts and agreements of sale of goods will be governed by Sale of Goods Act 1930. The Act came into existence on 1st July 1930. There is one special characteristic of this Act, that is, this Act is not applicable for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Hence, it is applicable for whole India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Means whatever the act that we are going to study under the business regulatory framework, it is applicable to whole India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, except the Sale of Goods Act 1930. This act is not applicable for Jammu and Kashmir. Here we are going with the introduction to the Sale of Goods Act. Definition of contract of sale. As I said, so whatever the contracts and agreements that is going to happen in India, which is relevant for sale of goods in India, that comes under the Sale of Goods Act. Essentials of contract of sale. So there must be essential elements that must be present to consider a sale of good as a valid contract. Conditions and warranties. Okay, so there are some restrictions, conditions that is made by the Sale of Good Act 1930 that must be followed by a offerer and the one who is going to accept the offer. Transfer of ownership in goods, including sale by a non-owner and exemptions. Okay, so here I had mentioned the points regarding the transfer of goods that is going to happen by the non-owner of the goods or a commodity. Performance of contract of sale and of unpaid seller. Sale by non-owner and its exceptions, and also performance of contract of sale by unpaid seller. These are the two important topics that is included in Unit 3. You can expect 10 marks question on this concept. Rights of unpaid seller against the goods and against the seller. These are the topics we need to cover in Unit 2. Unit 3, it's about competition and consumer law, where this Unit 3 is classified into two categories. Category 1, the Competition Act 2002. Category 2, it is a Consumer Protection Act 1986. These are the two parts that we need to learn in Unit 3. So, when it comes in terms of Indian Competition Act 2002, the Competition Act 2002 is a significant legislature that governs the commercial competition in India. And it also replaced the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practice Act 1969, prevent activities that had enacted the competition in India. Under the Competition Act 2002, we are going with objectives of Competition Act, features of Competition Act and CAT, offences and penalties under the Act. So here we are going to learn the penalties or the punishments that is given for the offences for different varieties of offences. And also we are going with Competition Commission of India. And also we are going with part 2 of Unit 3. It is Consumer Protection Act 1986. This act was enacted to protect the consumers for being cheated or harassed by the suppliers. There are two special cases of a Consumer Protection Act 1986. Number 1, if a consumer get harassed or cheated by the supplier or a company, he can file a case in a court of law without paying a single rupee as a fees and without hiring a lawyer. Okay, it is a one feature. Second feature is the act does not protect every consumer. Means it is going to protect the only consumer which is defined by the act. According to Consumer Protection Act 1986, a consumer is an end user of a commodity. Okay, so if a person purchased the commodity for the resale, he could not able to claim a case against a seller or a company. Okay, so a person who is going to use the product can only have the right to claim a case against the company with the documentary evidence. So these are the topics we need to cover under the Consumer Protection Act 1986, that is introduction to consumer, consumer dispute, defect, deficiency, unfair trade practice that is going to happen in a market, and services. Rights of consumer under the act. So here we are going to learn about the right of a consumer or the authority or the power of a consumer against a seller or a company. And also there are consumer redressal agencies which is going to protect the rights of consumers. Number 1, district forum. So this district forum is located in each and every state of India, and state forum, it is present in each and every state. In Karnataka, it is in Bangalore, and the National Forum, it is in New Delhi. Okay, these are the 3 forums that is introduced to safeguard the rights of consumers. If anybody want to file a case against a seller or a company, they can go with the district forum, state forum, or national forum. Module 4, economic laws. So in the economic laws, we are going with 2 important concepts, that is Indian Patent Act 1970 and FEMA Act 1999. So when it comes in terms of Indian Patent Act 1970, the Indian Patent Act 1970 governs the patent of India, which is introduced in 20th of April 1970. This act has replaced the Indian Patent and Designs Act 1911. And this act is a contribution that is given by the Iyengar Committee report. And when it comes in terms of FEMA Act 1999, Foreign Exchange Management Act. So earlier it was named as Foreign Exchange Regulatory Act, FERA. It had renamed as FEMA. This FEMA Act is a consolidated law which is introduced in India to facilitate the foreign trade practice in India. Here under FEMA Act 1999, we are going with objectives of FEMA, salient features of FEMA Act, definition and important terms which is going to come under FEMA Act, authorized dealer, difference between currency and foreign currency, foreign exchange, foreign security. These are the topics we are going to learn under the FEMA Act 1999. The last unit, Unit 5, Environment and Cyber Law. Here in this unit, we are going to learn about the Environment Protection Act 1986 and also regarding the cyber law. Okay, so when it comes in terms of Environment Protection Act 1986, this act was introduced in the year 1986. The main objective of this act is to protect and also to improve the environment. Under the Environment Protection Act, we are going with objectives of Environment Protection Act, definition and important terms that is going to come under the Environmental Protection Act. These are the important terms. Environment, we are going to learn the features of environment, environment pollutant, which are the pollutants that is going to cause a pollution in the environment, environment pollution, which are all the types of pollution, hazardous substances and occupier. And also we are going with types of pollutions. So there are different varieties of pollution. Powers of central government to protect the environment in India. So which are all the rights that the central government they do have to protect the environment of India. And regarding the cyber law, it is a comprehensive framework that addresses the various aspects of digital technology and internet usage. Under the cyber law, we are going with definition of cyber law, introduction to Indian cyber law, and also cyberspace and cyber security. These are the topics we are going to cover under cyber law. So this cyber law had included in this unit to create a awareness about the cyber security and cyber law in the minds of students, especially for commerce and management background students. So when it comes in terms of marks details, so as I said, this paper is for 100 marks as per the NEP syllabus. So this 100 marks is classified into 2 categories, category 1, category 2. Category 1 is a internal assessment criteria or internal criteria that is for 40 marks. This is the external criteria that is for 60 marks. Okay, so the question paper will be for 60 marks and this internal pattern is divided into 2 categories, 20-20. So 20 marks for continuous and comprehensive evaluation, that is CCE. So that is the assignment that is given by the respective faculties of a subject. So that is for 20 marks, and internal assessment test that is conducted by the college. Okay, so there are 2 internal assessment tests that is conducted and there are 2 assignment that is given. So 2 assignment is equal to 20 marks, 2 test is equal to 20 marks, right? Again, so assignment plus test, criteria A plus criteria B, that is for 40 marks, 20 plus 20, 40 marks, and the semester end examination, that is SEE, that is for 60 marks. So 40 plus 60 give rise to 100, right? So these are the marks details for the subject business regulatory framework. And the minimum marks for pass is 21, that is the 30% of 60 marks that you must score, that is 21 marks for 60 marks. To qualify in this paper, you must score internals plus externals together 40 marks. I repeat, to get qualified only in a written exam, that is for 60 marks, you must score 21 marks, that is criteria as per the university. And as per the criteria, you must score minimum of 40 marks out of 100, internals and externals together. Internal assessment test pattern. So as I said, the two tests will be conducted and two assignment will be given. Okay, so each and every test consists of 30 marks, where we are going to scale down the 30 marks to 10 marks for the final component, and this test will be conducted for 1 hour 30 minutes. This test consists of 3 parts, part A, part B and part C. Part A, there are 2 questions of 5 marks, of which you are supposed to attend any one among 2 questions. Part B consists of 2 questions of 10 marks, of which you are supposed to attend any one among 2 questions. Part C consists of 2 questions of 15 marks, of which you are supposed to attend any one among 2 questions. And again, question paper pattern, it is a final exam question paper pattern. Okay, so in part A, there are 7 questions of 2 marks, of which you are supposed to attend any 5 among 7 questions, that is for 10 marks. And in part B, there are 4 questions of 10 marks, among which you are supposed to attend any 2 among them, that is 20 marks. And in part C, there are 4 questions of 15 marks, of which you are supposed to attend any 2 among them, that is 30 marks. I repeat, 2 5s are 10, 10 2s are 20, 15 2s are 30. Totally 10, 20 plus 30, it is 60. So this 60 marks is for your final exam. Books for reference. So these are the books that I am going to suggest you for the reference. Other than this, my notes is much than enough to score out of out in final exam. And also, I am going to assure you, if you are going to put your complete efforts with my notes and videos, 100% you can score 100 out of 100 in this subject. It is a very easy subject. The University of Mysuru had formulated the syllabus in such a way that you can impart the knowledge very easily. Go with the study materials, go with the video classes. All the best for your final exam. Thank you.